Welcome back to episode 133 of Project Geekology. This is the continued discussion of our Alien franchise marathon, basically. Like, we're just week after week covering another Alien movie. We're going to be eventually covering Alien Earth as well. And we're covering Alien 3 on this third part of this series. And we're reaching back to some of the cast from Aliens 2 as we start this movie off. We have Ripley, we have Newt, we have Corporal Hicks, and then we have the android Bishop, all returning for at least the start of this movie. And we'll see where these adventures go from here. I'm 1/3 of your host, Dakota, and I'm joined as always with
Anthony. And I thought it was Alien³.
Is that actually the? Wouldn't cubed be? Oh no, 2 is squared, so 3
2
is
is
cubed,
squared,
right?
3 is cubed, yeah.
You're right. Okay, so maybe this is just Alien³.
Yes.
I'll have to mull that one over as we continue
But what
this
number
discussion.
is Alien, though? Like, what number represents Alien? And, like, how are they cubing a word?
Excellent question. Excellent question. We're going to be pondering this.
You need to use the foil method.
And the last of our hosts joining us this week is
Rich, and I think that the way you cube something, a word, is you have to use the foil method. I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher, but I firmly believe this.
Do explain the foil method, because I don't think I made it that far in math.
Oh, so it's when you have to multiply two binomials, it's first, outer, inner, lasts. That's the order of the multiplication you have to do when you then make it into a
first,
trinomial.
outer, inner, last. Okay, foil. Very good. And does that translate at all to the alien in this film?
I mean, it looked a little kind of metal-like when it was dripping that juice, but I'm not sure if there's any other relation other than the steel look.
All right, so let's hold on. Let's back this up. The first would be the first alien from the Alien movie. Then the outer might have been the Queen. The Queen.
Yeah. Okay.
In the second movie. The inner would be probably whatever's in Ripley during this movie. And the L, the last, is probably this alien in Alien 3. Or Alien³ as Anthony is so willingly testing me on.
There's a pop quiz next week.
There's a pop quiz next week for Alien Resurrection, guys. Be there or be square. I'm going to get this right out of the way. This movie is juicy. And probably not in the way that anybody wants it to be juicy. You know, in previous Alien franchise movies, we've had juicy aliens, we've had juicy androids. Now we have juicy humans. A lot of blood is shed in this movie. And it's very typical, I think, of early 90s and mid-90s movies that are trying to be a little edgier. You think of like going all the way up to like Blade in the late 90s. You have this like level of rated R where it's like super edgy to be gory and crass and... Yeah, it's
and dark. It's dark, the grunge era of films.
It's definitely the grunge era of films. So, in honor of the juiciness of it all, I'm going to ask you guys to give this podcast on whatever podcast application you're listening to a 5-star review, but not just a 5-star review. Make it a juicy 5-star review as we enjoy here. There's a little bit of crunch in this movie, not the good kind, like a bone sawing crunch in it. And I don't think that really applies to this podcast for this episode, but guys, give us a 5-star juicy review if it's the last thing you do on whatever day you're listening to this. But
if it's the last thing that you do,
you better.
They're on their last breath. I gotta give them that 5-star review.
Last thing you do on the day that you listen to this. I'm not telling you it's downhill from here. It's uphill, I think. So anyway, guys, we're gonna jump into our review very shortly. But before we get into any of that, I'm gonna send it over to Rich. What have you been up to this past week?
Just kind of in full swing with cross country again. The school year is kind of getting into full swing. I had to go to my son's open house, which whenever I go to like an open house or a parent teacher conference, I know as a parent I'm supposed to do it to be a good person, but I feel like I'm crossing the picket line, like I'm a scab. Like, I'm a teacher, and I'm going and making another teacher's day longer by being there, and I feel kind of wrong about that. But outside of that, I've just really been still. I mean, the season is winding down in MLB. I have one more player to get. I think I'm almost there, guys.
MLB the
I
show,
will
right?
finally, yes, be able to buy the Aaron Judge regular card, which will give me the entirety of all MLB 26, all the franchises. I will finally get that top Carlos Beltran card that I've been eyeing since April. So we're almost here. It's hard to do, though, because I'm grinding a lot and the Mets are terrible.
Can I ask you, actually,
Yeah.
MLB the show, does like the season end when the MLB season ends, or it's just...
It'll go a little further. Like, they'll include, because like they have mini seasons, or whatever seasons they call them. So like we're on season 7 right now, so they'll probably have another season that'll be the playoffs. They'll release special cards, and then they'll have like one that ends. It'll be after the World Series. Like, they'll release some kind of cool World Series card edition for the players that are left in the playoffs, and then it'll finally end. I think like officially they stop like uploading a lot of new stuff like middle of November, I want to say.
Okay. All right. Very good. I want to pivot what you've been up to this past week, because you've been doing something for the past couple of weeks, pretty much ever since we started the Smallville podcast. And you're almost done. You've been on a marathon stint, and how far are you in Smallville at this point? You don't have much left.
What was it? I don't even know. 3-4 weeks ago we watched one season of Smallville, and now I'm on season 10. It's been a journey. I mean, I'm at work, and when nobody's around and I'm just grading papers, I just throw Smallville back on. Like, I'll watch like 15 to 20 minutes of it and then just have to pause it and come back to it. But with Hulu, it's really convenient. So I'm just watching it wherever I want to watch it. If I'm in the car waiting for my son outside of Taekwondo before I pick him up, hey, that's another 10 minutes of Smallville I can get in there. So it's crazy. I forgot what happens. It's nuts. Lana Lang is still a villain. I can happily say in season 10, I still firmly believe. Especially,
do you think she knows that she's a villain?
Oh yeah, she gets like a villain haircut when she comes back. She's like, "Look at me, I'm Lana, the villain haircut." Like, I don't know, man. She's bad news bears. She's terrible.
Right, fair enough. So you're on season what now?
Last season, season 10. I just started episode 2 right before we got together tonight.
Fantastic.
I'll probably be done with season 10. It's 22 episodes, so I would put it at today is Wednesday, probably Saturday. I'll be texting you guys about this. Very fair.
Very fair. I'm going to send it over to Anthony. What the heck have you been up, guy?
Hey, just to let you know, Rich, and you did this to yourself, after we're done with the Alien Marathon, we are doing season 2 of Smallville, so get ready to go back.
Oh, no. I have so many thoughts. Oh, no. I'm going to be like a certain character when another character inhabited that character and overloaded them.
You played yourself, man. But, so what have I been up to? Man, a whole lot of nothing but working.
That's not fun.
A whole lot of nothing but work, man.
Yeah, that sucks.
No, well, no, not like I've been working like all the time, but like I feel like really just like in the last time that we've recorded, like it's just been like normal day to day. Like, I'm working, and then like I'll go to the gym, and then I go play some video games.
You haven't had time to yourself to like enjoy something.
Well, I mean, I have had time to enjoy myself, like, gaming and stuff, but it's just like, it's been routine stuff that I've been up to. Like, I'm not saying that work has been insane, but I mean, I've just been like, it's been just work, gym, gaming a bit at night, and then going to sleep. But I do have like a little mini convention that I'm going to close by on Saturday, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that's cool. What convention?
Yeah, a little. When I say mini convention, like, it's gonna be in a high school gym.
Nice.
Oh, I've been to one of those.
Those are the best.
Yeah, I don't know if they're the best, but they exist.
Well, I mean, they're actually really fun, and the reason why, like, I say that is because the larger ones can be sensory overload, and sometimes you can get some like really like these small conventions are almost like you get the you do get some artists that come in and people that come in with their stuff, but it's almost like a garage sale also, and you can find some like really good finds. Like the
That's
last mini one
true.
that I went to, I found Pokemon Silver for like a really really good price. Where we're in a world where and I like was able to like verify that it was a legit one, but in a world where like Pokemon Silver is like selling upwards to like $100, I got it for like 40.
Those
So yeah,
places, I
man.
used to go to the Knights of Columbus around here with my dad, and man, like for card shows. And they were like cringe and kind of sad, but at the same time, you got some great deals. So it was kind of worth going to.
Yes, sir. But yeah, no. So that's what I have going on, and well, I mean, I don't think I had said like last week, but I did end up going to see earlier last week. I did go to see Freakier Friday.
I think you did mention it, but
Did I mention
I
it?
don't remember if you
I don't
mentioned
remember.
whether or not you liked it or not.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I liked it. It was a solid movie. I think that it lived up pretty well to like the first movie.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know, the first one being a Lindsay Lohan classic. Like that was just like the Lindsay Lohan era back then. So yeah, it was fun to see her come back around. But yeah, what have you been up to, Dakota?
Not a whole lot of pop culture stuff, like we would normally discuss on the podcast. I went down to Miami literally like the morning after we recorded last week's episode because my great grandmother was in the hospital, and
Oh, okay. That's which one? I was actually gonna ask you
which grandmother?
which
Yeah,
grandmother. Yeah.
yeah. It's the centenarian. She's 100 years old. She fell and broke 8 ribs, but somehow is still kicking, and is being discharged. I think she was discharged yesterday from the hospital. So I don't. They're gonna finally like
Was
require her to
was
use
it like downstairs or?
just fell in her room. Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at a certain point
What's
you get
you-
too weak. But yeah, surprisingly she's still kicking, thankfully. But it's kind of like a weird thing because like, how do you survive that at 100 years old?
It's crazy.
I don't know.
Hey
I
man,
don't know.
she's like, you're not gonna take me down at 100 years old.
Yeah, I know. I guess she's itching for 101. But anyway, yeah. So I was down there, visited family. I was in the nursing home for like most of it. Honestly, it was like 4 or 5 hours a day. I was in the nursing home, just sitting there. Otherwise, I listened to the Aliens plural Aliens sequel novelization. Not too much new stuff there, but they do. It's kind of like the special edition of Aliens, where they do incorporate the deleted scenes that are in the special edition cut of the second movie. So that was kind of cool because I hadn't seen those in forever, and I'm probably going to go back and rewatch the Alien special edition sometime either tomorrow or Friday, from my own like timeline notes or whatever. And yeah, I watched Alien 3 or Alien³ today, and I downloaded the novelization for that, and I'm gonna supplement my watch of that with that audiobook, and then I'm gonna go into Alien Resurrection after I finish the audiobook. So that's my game plan with the Alien movie / novelizations. I get a little bit of a brief respite with Prometheus because there's no novelization for that one, but there's a prequel novel and a novelization of Alien Covenant. So by the time we get to that, I have a lot of like listening to do for that. But I'm excited about that because that's A, the only Alien movie I've never seen, and B, the only Alien movie that gets a prequel novelization or prequel novel officially. So
You didn't see Prometheus?
I saw Prometheus. I didn't see Covenant.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I saw Covenant.
How many more?
Yeah.
So what's next? Well,
So Alien 3, then there's Alien Resurrection, and then it goes into the prequels.
Okay.
Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and then there's Romulus, which technically takes place between 1 and 2.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And they're all basically different stories, which is just, it's such a bizarre franchise. They go through so many different like twists and turns. And Alien Cubed as Anthony is wont to call it, is no different. This is probably the most bizarre one to me. Actually, it's probably not the most bizarre one, but it's up there in like the top 2 most bizarre choices for the Alien franchise.
You know what
I'm actually still a little surprised that this was like the one series that passed Rich. Like when I think of because I know you watched the Predator series and I did too, but like Alien is like kind of like when you've watched Predator, you've also watched Alien.
Well,
kind of, like they're two sides of the same coin.
But then again, I've never watched the Predator.
But you're
movies.
also
I've never
That's
watched.
crazy, man. Am I the only one that's seen both?
Yeah, I think you are in this case.
Like,
yeah.
you have to understand also, the thing is though that when I'm in Florida and that Predator movie comes on the movie channel, I see Arnold, who I love. All right, like I already seen some Arnold stuff, whatever, and his voice is hilarious. But also the other draw was Jesse the Body Ventura. He was a big wrestling guy, so I was like, oh, it's that wrestling guy, right? So I was more drawn to that. Like if you didn't have Sigourney Weaver and it was like Hulk Hogan, like like, oh no, bro, the aliens aren't gonna get me, brother. Like, what you gonna do, aliens? Like I'd be watching that in a heartbeat. So it was. I watched Gremlins because Hulk Hogan was in Gremlins too.
I will say though that the acting between the two is different.
Well,
I would like the earlier Predators are a little corny, and I think it is. Yeah, it's corny.
Well, I think they've got you pushing too many pencils. Okay, Anthony. I think that's the problem. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
That high five is
it's
the
not.
greatest
We're
high
not.
five
We're
of
not
all
getting.
time.
We're not.
I have seen that actually. Yeah, no, it's.
What happened?
I've seen the high five, but anyway, we're digressing. We'll have to get to Predator at some point because I
thought we were ingressing because they're in the same universe.
Potentially, like no, it's not been like.
Hey, look, we have Alien
confirmed.
versus Predator. Are they canonical? No, but they exist somewhere.
Yeah, and Rich, you're welcome to skip ahead only to Alien versus Predator and Alien versus Predator Requiem because it's the ones that we're not covering for the show.
Oh, good.
And so you can watch those.
I'm going to watch them, and I'm going to bring faulty information to our next coverage because I will, as
Perfect.
I always do, reference other things that aren't the one that we're talking about.
That's fine by me. In this case, shall we jump over to our discussion of Alien 3?
Are you sure you're ready for that? I'm not sure if you're ready for that.
Yeah,
sure? I'd like to start by
yeah.
saying something, okay? I know nothing about this franchise. I have trusted you guys. I have done no extra reading, no extra anything, no extra rewatches, no watching forward, no watching backwards. I like Aliens too. I'm told, Rich, hang on. You get to see everybody in the third one. And I'm like, continuity, I love you. I don't want to have to learn new characters. I can just kind of like learn a couple new people, but it's going to be about Bishop. It's going to have Newt, right? Lies! All lies!
There's continuity by technicality,
All lies.
And we do have a brief appearance of Bishop,
And he's so sad. He's so sad to be in there that he's like, please just end me.
But he was done. Yeah, but then we have the invasion of a Lannister in this one.
It's the I was saying it before. That's the saving grace. Like the only thing that calmed me down, I was like, oh, it's Tywin Lannister, and I just kind of imagined him like cutting a deer apart and and while he like haranguing his sons. So that did warm the cockles in my heart. But I was having a good laugh last week when I said, we're going to have the continuing adventures of Newt, Hicks, Ripley, and Bishop as they make their way back to Earth or whatever I said. And I saw the light in your eye like twinkle, and I was just like, oh.
Is that the anger that you had to let out?
Yes,
Rich?
That was the anger I had. I was
that
so
was
pissed off. I was like, what's going to happen with Newt? Maybe it's in... Like, I had all these questions. And then I was just... Look, I know that I don't think this is the case, but you ever have there's some... I've heard some, like, franchises where, like, they just randomly like grabbed a script and like made it the third or fourth in that franchise, even though it doesn't super relate. Like The Hills Have Eyes or something like that. I think I read one of the sequels is like just a completely different thing that they slapped over the franchise on
Cloverfield 3.
Yes,
is that, yes.
You know, so what in the like, why didn't we continue the story of those, like, of Newt or whatever? Like, why the crash landing on this prison, like an all male, like religious prison? I was like, what is this, Australia? Like, I don't understand what is happening. I was like, I'm back to square one, like back to not knowing what the hell's going on over here, guys. You know, and man. I don't know. I'm going to try to calm down.
You know, we're finally kind of tapping into the name of xenomorph, right? We have a different one in this movie. We have finally gotten a non-humanoid xenomorph in this one, and this one's kind of crazy. Like they go back to the solo xenomorph in this one. The second one had a whole bunch of them, and then now this one it's like just one, and we're back to just that one xenomorph being able to just rip through everybody, and there's a little secret that's weighing on Ripley's mind that she finds out later in the film.
She does, yes. There's a lot to unpack with this one. There's a lot of really good ideas in this movie. And then there's a lot of really poorly executed. Most of it is poorly executed. By the end of the movie, I would argue that most of the film is poorly executed. I really enjoyed the first half. Though. I enjoyed the first half. The pacing was interesting. I liked the characters. And then when the aliens started killing everyone off, I just checked out. I was just like, okay.
I felt like I laughed a lot during this movie. There was a lot because like you said, this one where it's incorporating a lot of those aspects of action that we were getting in the 90s, and the blood was part of it, and some of the acting, I guess, I don't know, just the way that people were acting in the 90s was like kind of similar. Like I was getting, there's a lot of kind of corniness that was happening in this movie, but it was a fun watch. Like, do I think that it's like the best in the series? No, but do I think it's still fun to watch? Yes. Like it was definitely fun to watch, and I think it was even better to see Rich just completely have his heart broken. I thought he wanted Newt to be dead. He was so dead set on why is this child alive in this movie? He wanted Newt to die, right?
I didn't think
and that's what happened.
But not in that way. Well, how did she die? She drowned in the freezing fluid. There was a rip in the line. I think, right? Like what? Drowning in space? Come on, man! Like a little. Like if you're gonna give me a death, then she should have had the alien implanted in her. It should have been a little bit. I just feel like you wasted Newt. I did. And I know it's a different director, but you stuck you gave her plot armor and then you kill her off camera. I don't understand. Give her 5 minutes on screen.
So I think that was actually so the way that you're angry, that's actually one of the bigger complaints about this movie is that there are they survived at the end of that movie just to die off screen. I do.
And I did say last week that she had plot armor.
you agreed with me, so I was like, I am golden.
She did have plot armor for a film.
For a film, yeah.
Yeah, but I did. So I do agree with you. The earlier in the movie, I do like the idea of Ripley wanting to. She's like, we got to burn these bodies because, and she was withholding the reason why, she was saying it was cholera. Yeah, it was cholera xenomorphia maybe, but, but yeah,
I like that.
I thought that was a cool idea. And then at the end of the day, it was her that was the one that had a xenomorph implanted in her.
You mentioned that it's a secret that she keeps, but she doesn't know it until... I don't even think she realizes that it's a possibility until after that new xenomorph like goes up to her and basically like sniffs her or like, you know, communicates with her a little bit and then leaves her, you know. And I think at that point she realized, oh, I have plot armor again. For real this time. Let me go check this out.
Literal plot armor. Well, she also keeps the reason why she wanted like these bodies burned and or checked. You know, she called it cholera instead of like, yeah, there's a parasite in the, you know, there's an alien parasite that could be in these bodies.
But there's a lot of new stuff that this movie introduces, and I think it's worth discussing because I like where they were headed. There's a lot of like cool just lore stuff that they, you know, added into the franchise. Now we know that the gestation period for queens is much longer than the average alien because she was on that base for several days, where we normally see like an alien xenomorph develop and pop out of a body within, I think the novelization called it 12 hours.
Yeah, it was it was definitely like a short period of time.
Yeah. So this is all happening rather slowly for her. And it's giving her, I don't know how she knew it was the queen, though. She just kind of assumed. But because she says it aloud, it becomes lore, you know? Like that's what's inside her. So I don't know how she determines that just from... Go ahead.
I think she determined possibly... like after that interaction with the alien, that there might have been, like you said, there might have been some sort of communication or the way that it kind of reacted to her. Like it didn't, you know, we don't really see how the xenomorphs interact with each other, you know, outside of like, you know, you just see them rushing whoever they're trying to kill, but like you don't see them interacting amongst each other, right? So I think that, like, you know, when she had the idea, like, oh, let me get myself checked, you know, one, like that it was taking, that she was starting to feel whatever she was feeling and that it was taking a while, that, you know, usually the xenomorphs are just popping out like really quick. And two, like, yeah, like that interaction, maybe she was like, okay, well, it sensed that the xenomorph inside of me, but the interaction was kind of odd, you know, like some sort of fealty or whatever, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's, you know, maybe that's what she was, you know, maybe that's how she came up with the idea. But, you know, at this point, it's speculation. It's never really like shown. Maybe, I mean, no, it looked the same as any other, I think.
Rich, what are your thoughts so far on our discussion? You've been quiet for a bit.
Well, all right. So I like the introduction of like the idea of the possibility, like the queen's gestation period is longer, and that's why, because I before you said 12 hours from the novelization, I haven't read that. I felt that like my guess was about 12 hours from.
It was quick, yeah.
You know, from the first what's his name? I can't remember his name now, but the first guy who got face hugged, and then Kane, and then he had the alien come out. You know, so. I really liked the new kind of xenomorph. I wish I'm a little greedy, but I almost wish that we had seen like other animals as well. You know, I felt obviously tragically terrible for the pooch who was sacrificed for this. You know, and but I like you. I think like you said earlier, Dakota. I really liked the beginning. Like I was like, oh, all right. You know, and then. It almost feels like all these cool things are happening, and then once you figure out that she's got you know the queen inside of her gestating or whatever, I feel like that's when the movie just kind of like grinds to a halt a little bit, and it almost takes too long, because once I know the queen's inside of her, I'm like, okay, look, she's got to die, right? Like that's I don't know what happens next. I don't know if she's gonna come back or anything, but I firmly knew that she was going to die because I had seen, like, I guess I had seen an image somewhere of the little kind of like alien popping out of her, you know, and those aren't really that scary. Like if those aliens try to bite an apple, I bet you they wouldn't even be able to bite an apple. Like the first bite would be like unsuccessful, you know, like it's not really, I don't know.
They would just like straight up that like other mouth that they have, they would just like penetrate through the thing and just obliterate it.
All right, fair. That makes sense. I just, you know, those that can't like bite apples, they don't intimidate. I don't know. I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think my favorite scene.
Wait, back up. Is this a personal attack? Is this a personal attack? Has my wife been saying something at work? My teeth face inward, basically. So I have a hard time biting an apple. When I bite into a chunk of apple, it's not a full chunk. It's 2 small chunks where my teeth are able to like grasp it. Okay, I have a weird jaw. I know. So,
dude, I did not. Dude, I did not even.
My heart might
pick
be.
Up
my
on
heart
that.
might be
I'm
giving
like,
out.
What?
Jen gives me this information. He goes, "Is there a way that you can incorporate it into the show?" I'm like, what if I talk about how the little alien mouth can't bite the apple? And she's like, is he gonna pick up on it? I'm like, I'm gonna go real heavy-handed on this. And Anthony's probably gonna be like, what are you all talking about? I was like, but I'm gonna keep going until Dak gets it.
And it was just on cue. I was like, yeah, no, that thing would just obliterate the apple.
Oh. Let's continue.
So, but
my second bite of the apple is totally fine. It's just a really unpleasant and difficult first bite. Okay.
So, all jokes aside.
So what we were saying. So what you're saying is that you need one of those smaller.
Yeah,
mouths.
you need like an alien.
Perhaps.
I won't lie though. That scene, I was waiting for it. I was dying to see how she was gonna die, and I'm not gonna lie to you. The fact that she went like full Gollum. Also, like, hey, 90s movies, why does everything have to go into like lava? Whatever, Terminator 2. But like, I do. And then when she was falling in, I was like, wait, are we really not gonna get it? Are we not gonna get it? And then it happened. And as corny as it kind of and cheesy as it was, I'm not gonna lie to you that I love that. Like, she's falling.
Yeah, I was like. As I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, the '90s cheese."
Yeah.
So, and then she like hugs onto it as she like falls.
Let's discuss that a little bit because it almost, in a weird, twisted way, looked motherly. You know, like holding the baby down to your chest. Obviously, that's the visual that's being shown or showcased. But is that what she's trying to accomplish, or she just doesn't want it to jump off of her, or what are we thinking here?
Oh. I assumed she was just trying to make sure it died with her, but wow, what a twist if she like had some sort of, I mean, in some weird ways, Ripley is probably more connected to the aliens than any living thing in existence at this point because they blew Newt out of the water, you know. So
yeah,
that'll definitely roll into the next one.
Dun dun dun.
I'm not even.
Spoilers. He has no idea.
I don't trust you guys.
I'm gonna leave it there, but yeah,
there's no faith in you.
But yeah, no.
At least, but it's kind of sad that Ripley's dead, and we kind of lose like Sigourney Weaver as like the primary actress in the series. You know.
I don't believe anything you people say. I will report back to the listeners next week.
But she died.
Hold on, wait.
How do you come back from like being fully enveloped in lava?
When the Terminator went into lava, that was it. We never saw him again.
Yeah. Listen, I don't trust the company. Paul Reiser worked for the company. I don't trust them. All right. The company can do tons of stuff. Apparently, the company rules everything. It's like just the government, basically. So, you know, it's probably call up Lex Luthor or Lana Lang or something, and she'll show up and be a villain, I bet you.
It'll actually be really interesting once we get to Alien Earth, because I did watch the first episode of Alien Earth, and they do discuss the geopolitical landscape of like how companies rule everything, and it's going to be really like an interesting discussion after we've seen everything that the company has done, and you know all the machinations that occur over the years.
So like Outer Worlds, kind of like, I don't know if you ever played the Outer Worlds games.
I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. It's very company, like the companies basically own planets and they're very corrupt, and you have to operate and kind of like keep them all like faction happy, essentially.
I wonder how much of that's based on the Alien franchise, because I think this is just like a hugely influential franchise at this point in terms of science fiction. So I think that concept has bled into a bunch of stuff post Alien.
No, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely an influential series. I mean, Rich had even brought up how there was a whole scene in Spaceballs from Aliens. So I mean, you do definitely see the influence of it throughout. I mean, you also see There's also definitely like influence from like Predator. Like I said, like they kind of stand neck and neck. Those series.
So
So
I do have to touch on a couple things you guys have mentioned, and I think Rich, you mentioned both of the things I want to touch on. The first being the alien itself coming out of the dog, the boxer. As sad as that is, there's an assembly cut, like it's another cut of the film that released in 2003 that has alternate scenes, and it's kind of like a special edition. The director wasn't involved, but it does have like scenes that didn't make it into the final cut of the theatrical version. Instead of a dog in Alien 3 or Alien Cubed, it's a cow. I promise you, it's a bull. I think it's a bull.
Logistically, like, what are you talking about? Like, how is it getting around the prison if it's just a giant ass cow? That doesn't make any sense. That's stupid.
So there's a scene in that cut where Ripley's ship or Ripley's pod falls onto the beach, basically. To haul it back onto land, they have a bunch of cattle like just drag it onto the prison. I don't know why they have cattle. I don't know. I don't have the answers to that.
And it's like, how would that have worked when like the outside world was like below zero?
Don't know. Don't know.
Are we really like? Was the screenplay for this movie, or was this just like another movie that they just put aliens in? I'm very confused.
All right, I have an answer. A little bit of an answer. Not the answer you're looking for exactly, but you mentioned that it feels like another franchise's movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know that it is necessarily another franchise's movie, but it's definitely a corporate movie. Like it's Fox engineered this movie to death, basically.
Oh.
So they hired a bunch of directors, a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of writers, and one by one they just kept spitting out unfinished scripts. They kept dropping out as directors. They ended up falling in with this first time movie director, first time picture director, David Fincher. They did not give him a full script to work with. So the beginning of the movie is scripted. Most of it. It makes a lot of sense. The beginning of the movie is fairly scripted, but by the end of the film, you'll notice very little it makes sense. You know, like it just kind of rushes to the end. Well, that's because he quit.
Oh.
Maybe after the filming happened, but like during the editing, before the film was completed, in the editing room, he walked out, and he's never looked back. They released a Alien quadrilogy box set of the first 4 Alien movies, I think in the early 2000s. All of the original directors gave commentaries except for David Fincher. He wants nothing to do with the franchise. Basically, like Fox burned him out because they started like micromanaging everything that he was doing to the point where the movie stopped making sense. And they just wanted to churn out another horror blockbuster, basically. And that's why it has that feel, you know, like that like corny 90s camp horror adventure, you know, like that you've probably, you know, everyone's seen a couple movies like this at least, and they're all from the 90s. And that's why this movie is the way that it is, because there was clearly love put into it, but not enough to keep it going to fruition, basically. And yeah, it's a weird movie in the franchise for that purpose.
So that does make a little bit more sense for me, because I just found it's just felt so, yeah, like it doesn't flow.
When studios become too involved, man,
Yeah.
like stop micromanaging people. Let them do their thing, bro. Could you imagine like if they let him do his thing, it could have been like a whole other, like, you know, it could have been a better movie. So, but that, yeah, no, see that I didn't know. I didn't know that he walked out in the post production.
And it is frustrating because it does have the ideas of a good movie, you know, or at least a good successor to the first 2 movies, because each movie has added more lore to what the aliens are capable of, what they do, what, you know, this universe entails.
Right. And that, like, they can kind of infect more than just humans. You know, they can go to animals.
Yeah.
So that's what this one provides. So I mean, there is a bit that you can take from this, and while this might not be the best Alien movie, it's not the worst movie that you'll ever see, though. You know, there is still stuff to enjoy, like the scene where like Ripley is like trying to run up to the warden, and he's like, oh, there's one here, and he's like, man, get her out of here, and just gets like ripped right up into the ceiling. The scene after that had me laughing. Like there's like a dude that was mopping the blood up, but like he was like kind of like looking
up,
at, I'm like, dude, I don't care. I said, I'm not going under that thing. If there was a guy that was just there that just got murdered, that blood can stay there until we kill this thing.
That I felt bad for the prisoners because like clearly they had already all repented. They had all kind of made their peace with their God and their lot in life. They'd all, you know, made a vow of chastity and celibacy, and they were all trying to be better people. And then Ripley comes,
and she like Ripley's up everything.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
She Ripley's believes it or not, you know, meets back on the Menu Boys, the whole shebang, and it really, I mean, obviously, like these are not good people, you know, but I think they've already paid their price. So it sucks that they are sucked back into that life of crime and immorality that a lot of them are.
Yeah, I did like Clemens, and I did like the guy Dylan. He had like, you know, there's some like redeeming characteristics.
There were,
but
yes.
like there were like a couple of times though that like I remember when Ripley is trying to like set up a plan, and he's like, you know, why should we put our lives on the line for you? And then like, am I like literally I was telling to the TV, I'm like, dude, it's either she does it by herself and she dies, or you could just wait out and wait for it to kill you. Like, I mean, your life is already on the line. It doesn't matter if it's like you either wait there for it to kill you or you do something about it, you know?
Do we think that this alien is as intelligent as the other aliens that we've seen that are, you know, born from humans? So this one was born from a dog and or a cow, depending on the version you watched. And
how would a cow get through those vents, man? There's no way.
I don't got an answer for you. It does exist. I did watch that scene.
Would the milk be acid? Like if it was a cow, like if it's a heifer,
it would be juicier.
Yeah, like more juice, like just squeer, you know.
So I mean, the alien itself looks the same, regardless of like whether it was a dog or a cow. Basically, I think it was quadruped. You know, like
right. Like all the xenomorphs look about the same, except I feel like this one might have been a little bit more animalistic because I mean, I don't know, man. It seemed faster too.
It did seem fast. Well, I mean, it technically would have been faster because dogs are faster than humans. I think a cow at full speed is faster than a human. And this movie, you kind of have to treat one. You have to either choose one or the other. It's not that if you're watching the version with the dog birthing the alien, chest burst or whatever, that becomes the canon in that sense. If you watch the version with the cow, that becomes a canon. But like in the cow version, if there was a dog in that universe that gave birth to it, it would look a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like the movie, depending on the version you get, you have to like kind of like suspend disbelief. Okay, in this version, this is what the aliens look like. In this version, this is what the aliens look like when birthed from a cow. But anyway, what I'm asking is, does the human element make them more intelligent than the quadruped element? Because it was just killing indiscriminately. Like in the last movie, the aliens weren't immediately killing. They were like bringing them into the lair and cocooning them for eventual, you know,
right,
insemination from the queen, basically.
Right, like there was more of a strategy, you know, like they were trying to essentially like corral the people and aliens to like exactly where they wanted them to be, kind of, right? But yeah, in this one, you're right. This alien was just animalistic. Yeah, just it killed, So I think that yeah, it does bring it does pull on take on some characteristics from its host, which I mean it makes sense. A parasite is always gonna take some sort of something from the host, right? Yeah, I think that that's what we're seeing here.
Okay, I like it. Rich, what are your thoughts? Is this one dumber than the aliens from the past couple movies?
I don't know, because I don't know what its intentions are, and I don't know how that relates to Ripley having the queen inside. I don't know if the aliens from Aliens second movie, just to clarify, they have the queen nearby, right? We don't know how they communicate. There could be some kind of like ant-like radio waves that are transmitted to them from the queen. There's more of them, so maybe they have like a hive mind thinking that then makes them smarter. This alien from this movie may have just been out to clear everyone out indiscriminately so that the queen is safe. Yeah, like there's the easy answer is yes, the human ones are smarter. The questions I have, because I don't know the franchise as well, are these possible pathways to the way we understand the alien civilization, I guess I'll call it, or their bonding and how that impacts their intelligence and actions overall.
Yeah, do they have a hive mind? Do they have a collective conscious? Are they the Borg?
Yeah, something like that. Like that changes to me a lot, and we do know that some insect species kind of communicate in that kind of way, with not telepathically, obviously, right? But without any kind of verbal exchange over expanses. So these do seem very bug-like. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of similar patterns to the way we would have some insect kind of civilization developing.
Right. What are your thoughts on like the futuristic, almost post-apocalyptic Christianity themes? We know that this is like a new religious cult that they've like created in the middle of this planet. They chose not to leave. They chose to almost become monks, extending their own fate basically as prisoners. Personally, I thought this was a really, really cool idea. Like it's not something that I don't think this is like a weak layer to this cake basically. I feel like this is a really cool concept in a film that almost relays that in a really satisfying way. Well, what are your thoughts, Anthony?
I feel like it fits in well with the themes of aliens, because I feel like there's always been some sort of layer of post-apocalyptic feel to it. In the first one, they go to some derelict ship. That obviously there's some like catastrophe that happens. They go back to LV-426, where there's a whole colony that was like wiped out. So I feel like it fits in well with that theme, and the planet that they were on was almost like post-apocalyptic in a way that they had to be in this prison, because where they're gonna go, if they leave, they're gonna freeze.
Yeah.
And there's no way off of the planet other than the supply ship that arrives every 6 months. So the fact that that they had kind of like this post-apocalyptic cult in a prison that seemed run down, right? Like there was like a kind of like a warden, but like it seemed like it was run by the prisoners anyway, like.
So I think everyone at that point was on kind of like equal footing, it seemed.
Yeah.
There was a warden and there was a company man. I think they called him like 86 or something.
85, because that was his IQ.
85. That was his IQ. Yeah. Which is like so mean. Like he's there to help them. Yeah, I kind of liked 80. I liked 85. Did he survive? I forget. Did he make it to the end without that?
No, I don't believe so.
I gotta rewatch it. I'm gonna.
Was he the one that got gunned down?
Yeah, because I think he tried to like assert his authority.
Oh yeah. Wait. He randomly attacks the guy who was like Bishop's maker, or claimed to be Bishop's maker.
Yeah, he just like snaps and like attacks him.
He attacks him with like a what did he? It was an axe, right?
Yeah, because he's just so. I think at that moment, if I recall correctly, like basically it gets explained that they were trying to kind of convince Ripley to go back with the specimen inside of her, and
right, yeah,
he had been defending the company, and I think that was his breaking point. And
that's true. Yes.
For being a moral man, he immediately met his death. Seconds later.
You're right. Okay. I gotta rewatch this movie because I think I did clock out at a certain point where I was just like, man, this is just unraveling. But did you notice that like when he attacked Bishop, or the creator of Bishop, he was bleeding red blood? Like it wasn't the milky substance. So but like he like took a chunk off of like the back of his head, and he was still like conscious, like he wasn't like bleeding out on the floor. Like he had like the side of his face was like his ear was like hanging off, like lopsided, like a big chunk of his face had fallen off, but he was bleeding blood. So I'm really curious what that was all about, because like a normal person wouldn't be able to consciously stand there and still try to tell Ripley to come back. It was a really weird scene, but I don't know what to make of it.
I mean, maybe like they just like, what, we need to make these robots more lifelike. What can we do? Why don't we make the milk red so it looks like blood? To me, that's not a bad point. I don't even think it's that much. I'm not even sure if it's that much more complicated than they just try to upgrade the synths to be more human-like. So they're like, hey, humans don't bleed milk.
It's just like every time I see that milky substance, it's just so disturbing. Like it just looks so weird.
It's just robot juice. All right, it's no big deal. It's just robot juice.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like it's sickening. It's like like I said, if they had like just like regular just motor oil in there, it would have been like whatever. But for some reason, they like make it. I don't know. It's milky, and then they give them like innards that kind of go with it too. That like it just looks weird. Like it looks worse.
It's than blood, like chunky innards. Where it's like
like an uncooked shepherd's pie
with like small little balls on it.
Like these people are getting like obliterated in this movie. You just see blood and body parts just getting splattered everywhere. But like the milky substance just makes me gag. I don't know. It's just nasty.
There's a couple actors that I was happy to see. It was really cool seeing Charles Dance, who's best known these days for his portrayal of Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones, and he wasn't a villain. Even though he has such, especially in his old age, he has such a sinister face.
I was waiting for him to be a bad guy. Like I was just like, oh, this like, I know this is I've talked about it on the show before. This is my bias. If I see an actor in one role, sometimes that they're forever that guy. So it was I didn't trust him for a while. Like it took a lot for the character to earn my trust.
They also had. Anthony, you might not know this character from Doctor Who because he was only in one like official episode. The Eighth Doctor, Paul McGann, had a significant portion in the early part of the film up until like they chained him to a hospital bed because they thought that he killed a couple people.
I remember that guy. He's the one that called the xenomorph a dragon.
Yes, he called it. He plays the Eighth Doctor in a film, like a TV movie for Doctor Who in '97, and that's his only full episode as the Doctor.
He's like the Doctor. He's like the first kind of like modern era Doctor before we get Christopher Eccleston.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
We also get what's his name? the actor. There's an actor from The Lost World in there also.
Yes, I'm looking at the cast list now. Pete Postlewaite.
Yes.
Postlewaite.
Yeah, he plays. Yeah, he's in The Lost World. He plays like one of the hunters.
Yes, and that's probably what I recognized him from. Like, I feel like he kind of disappeared a little bit after the 90s, but he does have movies.
He was immediately recognizable because, like, I don't know what he's got going on with his eyebrows, but those things are bushy.
It's an incredible.
They were bushy in this movie, and they were bushy in that movie.
An incredible mug, but yeah, there's a lot of good talent in this movie, and I think a lot of good performances. I was just kind of sad to see all of them just gunned down for the sake of being gunned down. It's an alien movie. You're not supposed to survive for the most part.
You know, unless the script has the words plot armor written on the front, then just expect to be dead.
I mean, Ripley does have plot armor right up until the very end. Like, we know that she has plot armor just enough so that, like, she can fix whatever issues going on base and then kill herself.
Man, I'm just because I really do like Ripley's character. Like, I think that Sigourney Weaver, like, even with this movie, you know, being the movie that it is, like, I still like Sigourney Weaver in this movie. She's still the same character, and it's just a shame that, like, this is the last movie that we're gonna see her in the Aliens franchise.
Nice try, buddy. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe you guys. I want all of you out there to know I haven't cheated. I haven't looked forward, but I don't believe these two rapscallions.
That I think Rich just sold himself out because like, how would you know anything if you haven't looked in the future, right? Dakota, I'm gonna need you to lock your boy down.
I do think I just find it funny that he's like accusing us of all this just because I decided to like play with his feelings a little bit last week.
It's over. You don't understand. I'm gonna doubt everything you guys say about the future of franchises.
But I didn't do that to you. That was Dakota.
Look, this is like this. I had a friend when I was in high school. Okay, gave me To Kill a Mockingbird, and he handed it to me, and he said. He would just, so he did this for a while. He would just like give me books and then tell me a random plot point. Gave me Lord of the Rings, Flies. He goes, Piggy dies. I go, who's Piggy? I start reading. I'm like, oh, there's a character. Boom, the guy dies, right? So he sets me up. End of the year, gives me To Kill a Mockingbird. I start reading it. And he goes, oh, by the way, Boo Radley gets struck by lightning. My friends, I read that book and I intently was like, where is this plot gonna? How is this gonna even be a thing? This book does not lend itself to a lightning death. And then I finished the book, and there was no lightning death. All right.
That's awesome. He was playing the long game.
He had me on a bunch of books. He really did.
That's a long game. Well, honestly, is it really that long? Because knowing Rich, he probably read those books like very quickly.
That's a good point. Yeah, it was probably over the course of a weekend or two. So I touching on To Kill a Mockingbird, I have to say, I don't think I've ever mentioned it on this show. I think that's my favorite work of fiction ever written. I think that's truly a masterpiece. I think that is a flawless novel, and I'll sing its praises
more than
till the very end
more
of this
than
podcast.
The Zahn trilogy.
The what trilogy?
The Timothy Zahn heir.
Oh,
to the
Timothy
Empire.
Zahn. I think like leagues above it. Personally, it's
fair.
It's a perfect novel. Like it's absolutely like I've read it like probably 15 times. It is just a work of. It's a masterclass.
Guys, please make sure you join us on our offshoot podcast, Project Bookology, where we talk about famous works of literature.
Dakota would definitely do that, and I feel like I feel like that might be the podcast that you would actually be able to pull Jen onto. Since she doesn't want to join the geeks anymore.
Oh man, I gotta pull her onto this show again soon because like. We're getting accusations here.
We've been demanding it. Rich, you work with her all the time, and you're on this podcast all the time. I need you to plant those seeds into her mind to join us again.
I'll do my best. If I can pull off the Apple thing, I can pull off anything.
Alien Resurrection.
That was good.
Let's get Alien. Let's get her for Alien Resurrection. She's not gonna do it, but let's get her.
Alien Earth. Alrighty, so yeah, back on track. I feel like we're at the point. I don't know if there's anything else that you all wanted to add.
I kind of feel a xenomorph rumbling in my stomach.
Last thoughts on Alien 3, Alien Cubes, Rich.
Anger, disappointment. No, it was a. I had expectations, and it did fall short of my expectations. I won't lie. I kind of expected it to kind of continue in the Aliens 2 vein, so I was amped up for like kind of a Predator-esque once again, just kind of shooting and just tons of aliens, and it kind of slowed down and went back to its roots a little bit, which was a little kind of jarring in terms of how they were portraying Ripley. They have no weapons, right? Like they have no real weapons in this one. Like the last one, they have all this firepower. So it was an interesting, different chapter that gave us new information about how the aliens propagate their species, and all of that stuff is interesting. But like, if I'm rating the movies out of the first three, this is the third I would rate it. I'd rate Aliens 2 as my first, Aliens 1 as number 2, and this one comes in dead last.
Yeah, the first two movies are great for their own reasons, and that's because we had two different directors for them, and they're great for, what they do. This movie, I would put this movie below those ones, but I will say, kind of like what you said, it is good for at least introducing more lore to the alien universe. We get that xenomorph that, comes out of an animal. So it's like, okay, that's possible that animals can host these. So for that, I do think that it's pretty, good for that. And yeah, man. And we get a really good last hurrah for, Ripley. What about you, Dakota?
See what you did there, Anthony. I'm not buying it, buddy. I'm not buying it.
Alien 3 is it's a product of corporate greed. It's kind of a allegory of itself, because a lot of the Alien franchise, Weyland-Yutani, is the company, the capital C company, that is like overlooking everything that's going on. And that's basically what happened here. Fox, 20th Century Fox. By the way, the intro, I want to mention, like the intro of the movie where it's a 20th Century Fox fanfare, and it like crescendos into like this, instead of like the dun 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 dun, it just like, and it turns into almost like Dune music, and it gives me chills. It's a great way to start the movie. But anyway, 20th Century Fox, they overstepped their bounds with this one, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of good in this. Like there's a lot of really, really good ideas, and I wish there was not necessarily another director, because I think that David Fincher has a very unique look to what he's doing. It's a very creative lens, especially when he's like looking through the eyes of the alien. But it's
too much micromanaging.
Too much micromanaging. Yeah, no, I agree with that. So all things said, though, it's out of these first three films, it still makes it into it still makes it into my top three out of these three films. So yeah, I'm okay with whatever's happening so far. I'm excited to see what's happening.
I would hope that it's in your top three
of at least the first three.
Yeah. Would you say that Weyland and 21st Century Fox is interchangeable? They like became the company?
I think for the sake of my argument here, I would say yes. I think 20th Century Fox is technically Weyland-Yutani. They've meddled too much in the affairs of Ellen Ripley, and now they must pay with poor box office performance and poor reception critically, and we'll see what happens next time.
Yeah, man, and killing off their main moneymaker.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Join us for episode 134 of Project Ecology. Next week we're covering Alien Resurrection. It's the fourth film in the I guess it's 7 films series. Really quick, there's actually a little bit of Alien news before we close out. The director for Alien Romulus has said...
Wait, did you say the next one is called Resurrection?
No. No, I didn't say that.
I didn't even know the names of the movies. Resurrection. Come on! What do you think? I'm an idiot?
I don't know what they're resurrecting here.
Yeah, but the resurrection might be the queen.
Paul Reiser's coming back.
He was a real, game changer. They just released news, and I feel like it's important to talk about it now that we're discussing Alien, like lore and stuff, and the directors and all that. The director for the 7th film in the franchise, Fede Alvarez, who directed Alien Romulus, said that the next film, like a sequel to Alien Romulus, has been written, but he is not directing it. So I'm kind of sad about that because he had an awesome vision for Romulus. Like, there's so many incredible scenes in that one. But anyway, back to next episode 134 of Project Ecology. We are covering Alien Resurrection, which is directed by Joss Whedon. Many of you know him from the Avengers films, from Buffy, from Firefly. He's a not so celebrated director these days, but he was and I don't think he was a celebrated director in those days either, but in between now and 97, he was a celebrated director at some point. But anyway, yeah, Joss Whedon.
Poor guy.
I'm going crazy here. Join us next week for episode 134. We're excited to discuss the 4th installment in the Alien franchise. But if you haven't already and you want to check out some of our socials, be sure to click down in our show notes for more. And yeah, guys, we shall see you soon.
Goodbye, y'all.
The Wolverine.
All right, meat's back on the menu.